Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at matrix multiplication. Matrix multiplication is a little bit different to the simple operations that we've seen being used previously, so I'm going to start off with an example. So a pie shop sells a variety of pies over the course of 4 days, and we can see that information in the table below. If apple pies cost $3 each, cherry pies cost $4 each, and blueberry pies cost $2 each, how much money did the shop make each day? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up each of my matrices. So I've set up my two matrices. I'm using the matrix P to represent my price of my apple, cherry, and banana pies. Then I'm using the matrix S to represent how much sales that the shop made each day. So I'm going to use matrix multiplication now to find out how much the shop made each day. So to do that, I'm going to look at each of these individual days. So to find out how much they would have made on Monday, I've got 13 lots of A times by 3, and then I'm going to add that to 8 lots of 4, and then I'll add that to 6 lots of 2, and that will tell me how much I've made for Monday. In order to do this using matrix multiplication, we need to arrange the matrices in a very specific way. And the reason for that is here we have a row matrix, which is a 1 by 3 matrix. And here we have a rectangular matrix, which is a 3 by 4 matrix. So when we multiply them in this order, a 1 by 3 and a 3 by 4 matrix, notice that these internal numbers here are the same. And what we're going to end up with is we're going to end up with a 1 by 4 matrix at the end. And that's because we've got 4 days. So we want one row of 4 days where we find out how much exactly we earned on each day. So what I've done is I've highlighted these numbers here just to make this a little bit easier to see what I'm about to do. So the first thing we need to do, we're going to work out the total for Monday. So to do that, we're going to have 13 lots of 3. So our first element here times by our first element, plus our second element here times by 4 because we sold 8 cherry pies at $4 each. And then we had 6 of these, what was it again? Blueberry pies for $2 each. So that tells me how much I'm going to earn on the Monday. So we can do the same thing now to work out how much they're going to earn on the Tuesday. And again, what we're going to do, I might use some different highlighters for this. There we go. So now we're going to repeat that process. So this element here, so see, just notice here how we're multiplying this column by this row and we're doing it in a very specific order. So we've got 9 by 3, and then we've got 7 by 4, and then we've got 4 by 2. Okay, so that's going to be how much we earn on the Tuesday. So let's repeat this process again now, except for Wednesday. And then lastly, we will have Thursday's column. So for Thursday, I'm going to have to just squish over here a little bit more. So let's go ahead and finish these operations off now to work out how much we've earned for each day. So in total, we earned $83 on Monday, $63 on Tuesday, $37 on Wednesday, and $75 on Thursday. So now I'm going to show you using a graphics calculator app why it's really important that we have a particular order when we are multiplying matrices. First, I'm going to show you how to input these matrices into your calculator. So there's two options. The first option is going into the mat/vect tab. So this is for matrices and vectors. Then what you can do is you can go into the individual matrix and you can edit an individual matrix. So if I go into matrix B, for example, I want a 1 by 3 matrix. So then I can input my prices. So my first price was 3, then 4, then 2. So this is matrix B. So if I go back into the menu and back into that run matrix menu, so if I exit out of that, then this is still clear. I haven't actually used anything yet. So if I go back into that menu, I'm going to go down into matrix C now. And for this one, we want a 3 by 4 matrix, and I'm going to input each of those values. Okay, so if I exit out now, that will be saved as matrix C. So this is back in the normal run matrix menu now. So our first matrix was matrix B, and then our second matrix was matrix C. So we want to multiply them as matrix B times matrix C. So to do that, there's a little yellow button here that says mat, and that's for matrix. So we're going to go shift mat, and we wanted matrix B. So to do that, we're going to need letter B, which is this button here in red. So this alpha B will make that matrix B. Then we want to multiply that by matrix C, and we're just going to follow the same steps there, and we're going to hit enter. And you can see that those are the same values as what we got for our result before. So why can't we do matrix C times matrix B? Well, let's pop it in the calculator and let's see what happens. So I'm going to go shift mat alpha C times shift mat alpha B, and let's see what happens when I hit enter. Oh, there you go, dimension error. And that's because each of the elements don't line up. So if I was to go to multiply each of my days or each of my prices, then the number of days is actually different to the number of prices. And so we can't actually add up each of those values because the fourth value isn't going to be multiplied by anything. So that's why we need to have it in that specific order. Now, this isn't the only way to do this on your calculator, so I can delete all this because we know that that's not quite right. Now, the other way that we can do that, if we go into the math button and then mat/vect, this is another way to get a matrix on your calculator. And so this you can actually specify. So they have some pre-selected options here for you. Now for us, we wanted to do the 1/3 matrix first. So if we can't actually find, or this doesn't seem to be popping up on these pre-selected lists, which luckily for us it is, then what you can actually do is you can go into this M by N, so your row by your column, and you can set the dimensions that way. So for our first one, we wanted a 1/3, and we wanted the prices 3, 4, and 2. Next, we can multiply that by, what was our other matrix? A 3/4. And again, let's just pop these values in. Okay, so if I hit enter now, let's get out of that matrix and hit enter. There we go. And again, it's going to give us the same values. So that's just two different ways of doing it in your graphics calculator. What I would suggest, I would actually suggest having a practice go at quite a few matrix multiplications by hand first, and then I would have a go at checking it in your calculator to see if the answer is right. Matrix multiplication is one of those things that's a little bit confusing at first, but if you keep practicing it, it sort of becomes second nature, and you sort of realize, well, through highlighting or through whatever, where you need to multiply what. So that's my tip for you guys. Anyway, see you in the next one. Have a good day.